Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you just now tuning in, we are live in Chillicothe in Ross County along the Bridge Street Bridge, just underneath the Bridge Street Bridge here by Walmart and IHOP, where we're told at least 3 inmates have escaped from the Ross County jail, possibly a 4th inmate. We know at least 1 inmate has already been taken in custody. We know that a 2nd inmate was seen crossing the river here, the Scioto River, along Bridge Street. That is why there is a heavy law enforcement presence here under the bridge right now, as 2 law enforcement officers went into the water after one of the inmates. The 3rd inmate's whereabouts right now are unknown, but we know at least 1 of the inmates are in custody. The 2nd one is currently being chased after in the Scioto River under the Bridge Street Bridge. We have the Highway Patrol here, the Chillicothe Police Department here, as well as the Ross County Sheriff's Office, who has their canine out. This is developing right now. These inmates escaped about 15 minutes ago. CPD already has 1 in custody. A 2nd one is being pursued along the Scioto River banks in the middle of the river. The 3rd one's whereabouts are unknown, and they still are doing a head count to see if a possible 4th inmate has escaped. We know that the Highway Patrol is in the process right now of launching their aviation units to come to this area and assist in this search for the remaining inmates who have escaped. Again, 1 in custody. We don't know how these inmates escaped from the county jail. We don't know their names, and we don't know what they were being booked in under while they were being housed in the county jail, what charges they were facing. Undoubtedly now they will face felony escape charges once they are apprehended. So these are live pictures now. And you have to bear with the camera quality. It's very cold out here, and the dense air and the cold air messes up the camera lenses. So we're going to do the best that we can with that. But these are the live pictures right now under the Bridge Street Bridge here in Chillicothe. We know just on the other side of here, several law enforcement officers are in the woods. They are also in the Scioto River right now as they are looking for these escaped inmates. We know that 1 is in custody. Another one is in the middle of the Scioto River. And 2 law enforcement officers, we understand, are in the water right now pursuing those that inmate in the river here along the Bridge Street Bridge. The 3rd inmate's whereabouts are currently unknown, and they're still doing a head count to see if a 4th inmate did indeed escape. This all unfolded here in Ross County at the county jail on Paint Street about 25 minutes ago. Calls came in that these inmates escaped. We don't know how they escaped and what they were facing charges for while they were booked into the Ross County jail. We don't know their names, and we have no idea exactly how many inmates escaped, though we're told they know of at least 3, possibly 4. 1 has been apprehended. That's what we know at this time right now. A 2nd one is being pursued along the Scioto River. They've got 2 law enforcement officers in the creek right now going after that inmate. And then the 3rd inmate's whereabouts is currently unknown. The 4th one, they're still trying to do a head count to see if that one can be located, if he's still inside the jail or if she or he has escaped like the other 3. 1 K-9 unit is out here on scene from the Ross County Sheriff's Office. The Highway Patrol is dispatching additional units into Ross County from surrounding counties to assist in this search. We understand that DPS has also launched a helicopter. This is just one area of Chillicothe right now that is under siege by law enforcement. There is Yaktangi Park also has several law enforcement units on the scene as they are scouring Yaktangi Park. It's our understanding that at least one inmate was caught in the area of Yaktangi Park by Chillicothe police. And the second inmate was seen in this area crossing the river by law enforcement. 2 law enforcement officers, we understand, went into the Scioto River, which is frigid, freezing temperatures right now, to pursue that inmate. The third inmate's whereabouts are currently unknown. And the fourth one, they're still trying to locate to see if they're still incarcerated. I'm gonna actually ask. I'm gonna see if Mark, if Mark wants to join us, or if he can hear us. That's up to him. If he wants to join us with audio, kind of give us an update on what he's hearing with law enforcement chatter, and out here.
Obtaining why they were in jail.
I can tell you, Derek. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Mark.
All right. So we're monitoring the traffic from here, and as we have information that we can put out to the public, I'll put it in the lower third for you.
Okay, that fantastic, Mark. Thank you. Okay, so we're right now. The information that I have shared in this broadcast is all that we know, and we will share more with you when we have that available. But we are going to stay live here. You can see just along that fence line on the other side of that fence gate, you can see Highway Patrol, a deputy, and appears to be another law enforcement officer. 3 law enforcement officers have their flashlights out, and they are working to locate that third inmate, that second inmate rather, that was in the Scioto River. We know that the third inmate is still unaccounted for, but they don't know where that inmate is. The fourth inmate, they're still trying to determine if that fourth inmate did in fact escape, or if they are still incarcerated. We don't know how this escape occurred, other than it took place at the county jail on Paint Street in downtown Chillicothe. We don't know what these inmates were in jail for. What details we do know at this hour is that law enforcement has requested the assistance of the Ohio Highway Patrol. We're actually going to get back into the vehicle. It's a little cold out. Those inmates aren't going to last long. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the warm weather, the heat, out of the cold weather, rather. So, okay. So the pictures you're looking at right now are what we can see. Just about at 8:45 tonight, we know that 3 inmates escaped from the Ross County Jail. They are believed to be headed in the area of Bridge Street. We know one was apprehended by the Yaktangi Park area. A second one was spotted along Bridge Street Bridge in the Scioto River. We know that at least 2 law enforcement officers went into that river after that inmate. The third inmate is whereabouts are unknown, but we're told that they are headed westbound according to law enforcement traffic. So for those of you that are not familiar with the layout of Ross County, westbound is going to be in the area that we're in actually right now, toward the Great Seal Park. That's where we're at right now. So as we continue to develop this breaking news, we will be sure to keep you updated. We did get back into the car because it is very cold outside. It's 29 degrees according to the thermostat. So these law enforcement officers are, I'm sure, cold, and that's unfortunate that they have to be out in this weather right now. Some of them we understand, have gone into Scioto River to apprehend one of the inmates, but so far we haven't seen that inmate come back out here in handcuffs. Wherever these inmates are that are remaining at large, they're not going to last very long. It's very, very cold out here, and undoubtedly, if they are indeed in the Scioto River, they are going to be suffering from hypothermia. All right, we're still trying to get some more information. Right now, everything I've shared is all that we know, all that has been released as well. The last piece of information we had was the one, possibly two inmates. The law enforcement still aren't sure how many. At least the ones that are unapprehended are on their way, according to law enforcement, westbound. So it has been very cold in Southern Ohio. For those of you that are tuning in, you live here, you know that. We've had a significant amount of snowfall in the area. We understand, based on law enforcement chatter, that they are following footprints. If you are in this area making your way to Walmart, part of the road under Bridge Street Bridge is shut down. As you can see, those law enforcement vehicles in front of us are partially in the roadway, specifically those two highway patrol troopers. We understand that more highway patrol officers are on their way into Ross County right now. We know that in addition to the highway patrol, DPS is the Department of Public Safety of Ohio, which is the highway patrol is a division of. It has launched their helicopter, and their helicopter will be hovering overhead in just a few minutes. We understand that they have a large spotlight on that helicopter, which they'll be able to shine in the area. And they also have thermal imagery on these helicopters that will allow them to track body heat and hopefully be able to get these inmates. Undoubtedly, dangerous situation we're dealing with right now, not just with these inmates who have escaped and are out here in the elements, but also the law enforcement officers. We know two of them, we're told, went into the Scioto River to chase after one of these inmates. One inmate has been apprehended. So we're told, we know of at least 3 inmates have escaped, possibly a 4th one. They're still not exactly sure. We know of those 3, 1 has been apprehended by Chillicothe police near the area of Yaktangi Park. We know the 2nd inmate was seen last going into the Scioto River. We know that a 3rd inmate's whereabouts are unknown. And we're told that we have unconfirmed reports that 1 inmate is reportedly back at the jail turning themselves in. And that remains to be unknown and unconfirmed at this point, but that is what we are hearing. So when we have more information, we'll update you. Very limited details, as you can imagine. This is breaking just within the last half an hour that these inmates escaped. We don't know what they were housed in the county jail for, what charges they had been booked in under while they were at the jail. And we don't know how they escaped. No idea. That hasn't been released yet. And it's going to be very challenging for us to get that information because it is the weekend. But we know that 4 of them, or at least, excuse me, let me rephrase. We know at least 3 of them possibly have a 4th one. And at least 1 has been apprehended. A 2nd one possibly turning themselves in, we're told. And this is a very fluid situation. And I want to emphasize that as we give you these reports. This is a very fluid situation. And so these are unconfirmed reports that we're getting to deliver to you. But what we do have confirmed are 3 inmates, 1 apprehended, a 2nd one spotted going into the Scioto River by IHOP and Walmart under the Bridge Street Bridge. A 3rd one's whereabouts are unknown, and a possible 4th one. They're still doing a head count at the county jail to see if a 4th one did indeed escape. And that's what we know. Okay, we hear the helicopter overhead right now. The DPS helicopter has just arrived on the scene. They are on the scene overhead now. That is the Ohio Highway Patrol's helicopter. They have a thermal camera on that they'll be able to exercise in, and they have a large bird's eye view that they'll be able to hopefully hunt down anybody that's in the woods here along IHOP. They also have a large spotlight that they'd be able to exercise and use to light up the wooded area. You know, these are dangerous conditions out here, dangerous conditions, not only for the inmates, but for the law enforcement officers. It's not a safe thing to be doing right now. No one should be out in these elements, especially going into the water. It is 29 degrees, according to the temperature here at the Bridge Street Bridge. We understand that the one inmate was apprehended along the Yoctangi Park area. You can see one trooper's clearing the area, probably going to reposition. We're actually going to we're going to make sure it's safe to do so with the camera. Try to reposition ourselves so we can get you guys a better vantage point. Okay, the camera should be good. We're going to go down River Trace, circle back up, go down Bridge Street, show you guys the law enforcement traffic in that area, and most likely come back down here. Want to shout out to Scioto County Daily News, who is assisting the Guardian in this broadcast here in Ross County. We constantly are doing content sharing with the Daily News, and you can log on to their social media as well as their website, SciotoCountyDailyNews.com. Okay, we are going to make our way onto Bridge Street right now as we try to get some more information about these escaped inmates. We know that there's a few scenes right now. So we know we've got the scene by IHOP under the bridge. We've got another scene on top of the bridge and a very fluid scene in Yoctangi Park right now as they scour that area. They have brought in the Dps Helicopter to assist in that search. And it is flying over the area right now. Mark, can you want to keep a lower third up just for those that are tuning in, if it's not too much for trouble, letting them know what we're working on. You can see there is a highway patrol vehicle there, and in front of that is one highway patrol trooper keeping an eye on top of the bridge. We understand that in Yoctangi Parkway, they caught a second inmate. So we're going to head over that way. Very dangerous weather conditions out here right now. This is not something that anyone should be having to deal with. The temperatures are 29 degrees. The water has chunks of ice floating in it along the Scioto River, where one inmate was last seen going into the river. Very dangerous conditions. Very dangerous conditions. Especially for the law enforcement that are having to go into the water. Okay, you can see there are several law enforcement vehicles here in Yoctangi Parkway, including Chillicothe Police and the Sheriff's Office along the flood wall. You can see their headlights above, in front of us rather, as well as the Sheriff's Office and Chillicothe Police and state troopers. You can see they are snaking their way through Yoctanji Park, where at least one inmate was apprehended. So, for those of you just now tuning in,
Derek, there's if you could, some of the folks are asking which jail or prison that these inmates have escaped from.
yes. So it's our understanding, and I'm glad, Mark, I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad a lot of people are wanting to know that, because Ross County is known to have it has multiple prisons. It's our understanding these inmates escaped from the county jail, not from RCI or CCI or the Albus House. It's our understanding that these are from the county jail. And that's the information that we know right now. We're not sure exactly the exact number of inmates, other than we know at least 3, possibly a 4th one. Law enforcement caught one inmate in Yoctanji Park, which is where we're at right now. That second inmate, as you've heard me say 20 times now, was last seen in the Scioto River. We know a couple law enforcement officers went into the Scioto River to perhaps apprehend him or her, and we heard some reports that a 3rd inmate might be turning themselves in. We do hear a helicopter overhead. That helicopter does belong to the Department of Public Safety's Division of the Highway Patrol, and they are overhead right now with their thermal cameras. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very important that you adhere to the advice I'm about to give you. Please, for the sake of operations, do not come down to Yoctanji Parkway. We don't know how dangerous these inmates are. We also don't want anyone to impede with law enforcement's operations. And more importantly, we don't want, excuse me just a second, we're gonna turn around. We saw somebody walking in Chillicothe High School. It's our understanding that they're focusing on the Yoctanji Annex right now. So we're going to go down into CHS right now and see what the scene is down there. We saw quite a large presence on the other side of the tree line, and at least one person was walking through Chillicothe's high school. That person appears to be walking over to their house. They are not an inmate. So the helicopter is hovering high above downtown Chillicothe right now. Law enforcement are focused primarily on the annex area of the Scioto River, Yoctanji Annex, as well as the boat ramp down there, and in the area of IHOP. So the general vicinity back there by the flood wall, that's where the majority of law enforcement are. And the reason for that is because we know at least one inmate was apprehended back in this area, and that a second one was last seen crossing the river in this area. So a total of 25 minutes, just almost a half an hour, that we're told that these inmates have escaped, almost a half an hour. They were last seen headed westbound. All right, we're gonna make our way back over to downtown, swing by the jail, see what's happening there. Probably not much. We don't know exactly how these inmates escaped, other than we know that they were at the county jail when they escaped. And it's very important that we make note of that, because there are 2 prisons and a state rehab correctional facility here as well in Ross County. The temperature is hovering just at about 30 degrees, freezing temperatures and below freezing. And the weather out here is dangerous, absolutely treacherous, especially for inmates who have nothing on but jumpsuits, and more importantly, law enforcement who equally don't have much clothes on other than their uniforms. They do have jackets, but this unfolded so quickly that these officers jumped out of their cruisers. We saw many of them were not even wearing their winter jackets, because they were quite physically in a foot chase in the Scioto River with one of the inmates, and they didn't have time to grab their jacket and put it on. So right now, we are on Yaptanji Parkway. We're going to make our way over to the Ross County Jail, where the scene of the crime, so to speak, is. And then we'll make our way back over to the IHOP area where the majority of the action is. I understand that Walmart is still open for the next 2.5 hours. Excuse me, the next hour and a half, rather. So if you got to go down that way, ladies and gentlemen, please try to avoid the active law enforcement presence down there. You don't want to throw off the helicopters either. Now would not be a good time to walk your dog in this area, because number one, it will throw off that thermal camera, and number two, we don't know if these inmates are dangerous. We don't know what inmates escaped and what they were originally booked into the county jail for. So there is a state law, and not the news geek in me, I'm going to share this with you. Of course, when I worked for the sheriff, we had to use this quite a few times, and I can remember having to assist in drafting the letter and delivering it to the State Highway Patrol for the sheriff. But there's an old state law that says that if the sheriff has escaped inmates, he has to follow a process and a procedure. So obviously the number one priority is to apprehend the inmates. But simultaneously, while there looks like we're back. So, are we good with audio, Mark? Mark, can you still hear us?
Yes, I can hear you fine. I'm good. I'm going to record you. I'm getting ready to close it.
Okay.
Well, I'll just tell you, they're saying that Atkins is in custody.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up there, Mark. I can't hear you, and I don't think the viewers at home can either.
So they're saying that Adkins is in custody, and there is a 4th still at large.
That 3 inmates are apprehended. One of them possibly turning themselves in. A second one, we understand, was apprehended in the area of Yaptanji Parkway. We're now just told that a 3rd one is in custody, and a 4th one is still at large. Mark, do you want to go on Ross County's active inmate list and see what Atkins was being booked in under? We don't know the names of all these inmates, but we understand we know of at least one of them's last name is Atkins. And Mark's going to check out what their charges are and let us know. But right now, we are near the county jail where the scene of the crime occurred, so to speak, and not much action here because all the action is where the inmates are, or where they think they might be, as they look for them. And we're going to make our way down there right now. Very cold weather right now as deputies, troopers, and police officers with the Chillicothe Police Department continue to look for a fourth inmate who is unaccounted for right now out of this inmate jail escape, as it's known to us, from the Ross County Jail. We understand that just within the last few minutes, a third inmate was apprehended, and a fourth one remains on the loose. Ladies and gentlemen, I see an increased amount of traffic right now in the Yaktanji Park that are not law enforcement vehicles. These inmates are very dangerous. They are booked into the county jail for a reason, and they had no problem committing a state felony by escaping the jail. They are not only risking their own lives through hypothermia, but they are risking the lives of the law enforcement officers who have to be out here in these frigid temperatures in the water looking for these people. You could very well be a victim of carjacking if you come out here. We don't know what these inmates are capable of. So, by all means, stay clear of this area. This is not the time to come down here and take. All right, we had an issue with the camera overheating. The camera is in the dash and it overheated because of the defrost. So we got that fixed now for you guys. The dash cam overheated because of the defrost. So we got you guys back now. Okay, so as I was saying right before, we got information that one of the inmates was apprehended. I was sharing with you an antiquated law that the sheriff has to follow when they are having escaped inmates. And they have to write a letter immediately upon the escape to the highway patrol, to the prosecutor, and to the news media. They also have to contact any victims from the cases for which these people were booked into the county jail for originally. So once these inmates are escaped, another letter has to be typed or handwritten and delivered to those same three entities: Highway Patrol, County Prosecutor, and the news media. It's a law from, I believe, the 70s. Okay, so more law enforcement have made their way to the Bridge Street Bridge, and you can see their lights right now as we come into this area. Bizarrely enough, none of the command staff are out here from the sheriff's office. The sheriff himself is not here, nor are none of his lieutenants. Captain isn't out here either. Very bizarre. I can tell you from my time in Fayette County, my time working for the Pike County Sheriff, that would not be the case in those counties at all. Those sheriff and their command staff would not only be awake and in their cruisers, but they would be in the waters. I can assure you of that. All right, so we're gonna get spun around here, get repositioned back in the area for you guys, as the primary focus of this search is in the area of the Bridge Street Bridge by IHOP. We know that 3 of the 4 inmates are in custody, and the 4th one remains at large. We understand that we might know the name of one of them, and we're trying to check out their charges and what they were booked into the jail for. We don't know what any of these inmates were originally being held for, what would prompt them to escape. But undoubtedly, when they are apprehended, they will face felony escape charges. And they're not going to get too far. It's cold. It's 32 degrees according to the thermostat, which is freezing. We're going to keep a safe distance so we don't interfere with the law enforcement. So we're going to stay back here, but you can see those cruisers from the Highway Patrol and the Sheriff's Office and the Chillicothe Police Department. We see at least one canine here from the Sheriff's Office. The canine is out, and we still hear that helicopter overhead from DPS Highway Patrol. They have a thermal camera that is aiding in this search for the remaining inmate. Now, there's a system, and you guys might have heard of it. It's called MARCS, M-A-R-C-S. It's a digital radio system that is primarily used for the most part statewide now. There are some smaller jurisdictions that don't have the radios, but are in the process of getting grants. But so it's when I was Working closely with Sheriff Stanforth up in Fayette County, it was called interoperability. That's the word he coined. And basically what that means is before Mark's system came out, digital radio system, the law enforcement officers would not be able to communicate with other jurisdictions. They would have to call in, and the dispatchers would have to call the other dispatchers, and they would communicate from dispatcher to dispatcher, and the information would have to be relayed that way. It was time-consuming. It cut off precious seconds to searches like this. And so with the Mark system, as we know, that they're able to just flip to a common channel where they all have access to that common channel, and all these law enforcement officers can communicate with one another from various agencies while they assist in this search. And I actually met, when I was in Scioto County working a story about a week or so ago, I met the administrator of, the director of the administrative services, who was appointed by the governor, and met with him, and he gave me a great education on Marks, and his system, or excuse me, his agency is the one that oversees the system. And it's great for situations like this. Fourth inmate remains at large. 3 are apprehended and in custody. And the moment that the fourth one is, we'll let you know. You can see a deputy sheriff has just pulled up and got out of a pickup truck. We understand that family members are being contacted of the 4th inmate because that's where most of them go, is home. We understand that there's another sheriff deputy pulling up right now. Looks like he's going to alleviate one of these. Okay, there's 2 of them getting out now. We're keeping a safe distance back. We don't want to get in the way. So, we can see that law enforcement are still searching this area with the assistance of a helicopter. They also have a canine out here as well. You can see, I don't know if you can see it because we're so far back, I can see it. To the right of your screen, in front of the gate there, in front of the cruisers, you can see one inmate, or excuse me, one, looks like the deputy sheriff has their flashlight out and looking for these inmates. Now, we understand that the 4th inmate is in this area, and that they were, law enforcement were tracking snow prints, shoe prints in the snow. And the county jail does not give you quality shoes. So it's a correctional facility. It's a county jail. You either get slip-ons or you get Crocs. And that's it. And Crocs have holes in them. So going through the snow with a pair of Crocs that have holes in them is not going to be good on your feet. Thankfully, the law enforcement out here, they do have nice boots that will assist them, and that's good. But it is cold out here, and a lot of these law enforcement officers jumped out of their vehicles without their jackets. So they have since retreated back to their vehicles to get their jackets. But initially, they were out here without any thermal jackets on, and it was not good for anyone. It wasn't good for these inmates. It certainly wasn't good for these law enforcement officers. We know that one inmate was last seen in the middle of the river, Scioto River, here at the Bridge Street Bridge, and a couple of law enforcement officers went in after that inmate. And the weather is freezing cold out here. Literally freezing cold. No one should be out here in this weather. It's not safe for anyone. We know that 3 of the inmates are in custody. A 4th one remains at large. And we know that one was caught by Yaktangi Park. A 2nd one perhaps turned themselves in. That's still unconfirmed. And the 3rd one, we're not exactly sure. We understand that they are in custody. But the 4th one remains at large. We were told last that these inmates were seen headed west. And so that's why law enforcement are primarily focused in this area. We understand that DPS still has their helicopter overhead. I can actually hear it buzzing above us. They have a thermal camera and a spotlight that they're using as they focus on the woods around Yaktangi Park, River Trace, and Bridge Street. Okay, it looks like we have some Mark, if you're listening, we have a significant amount of law enforcement activity taking place on Bridge Street, headed toward the business area of Bridge Street. Now, I'm not sure if they've got a possible inmate down there or not, but we'll know in just a few seconds what the status is on that. There's a lot of commotion happening right now at this very fluid scene. We want to give a quick mention to the Scioto County Daily News, who is joining the Guardian in a simulcast for this broadcast. And we greatly appreciate their assistance and efforts in executing the news.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Mark, I can hear you.
Okay, so the chatter right now is that they have somebody that they're looking at. Right now it's just being identified as a person on a trail. So that's probably what you're seeing the action moving towards. But there are no confirmed, nobody's in custody. They're just saying that the person has been spotted on a trail. So
Okay.
That's what they're reporting right this minute.
Okay, Mark, thank you for that information. So just to kind of springboard off of what Mark was just sharing with us, 3 inmates are in custody from this escape at the Ross County Jail. A 4th inmate is still at large. There is a lot of commotion happening in this area right now, and it's possible that law enforcement are making contact with an individual along the bike path here in the area of Yaktangi Park, IHOP. It all kind of runs together. It's split by the flood wall and the Scioto River. So it's our understanding that they are checking out this person. And as we just stated, it does appear as if a lot of the law enforcement are going to be leaving this area right now to make their way over to that area. And as soon as it clears out, we will turn around and we'll reposition as well. All right. So law enforcement have cleared out of Bridge Street Bridge and have made their way to another position that we understand it, where a person of interest is being ID'd right now, possibly that 4th inmate.
This information is coming from the helicopter.
Okay. So Mark tells us that DPS's helicopter overhead is communicating about this 4th person of interest right now along the area of the bike path there back in Yaktangi Park. We're going to make our way over there too, kind of reposition, because the area where we were at with all the law enforcement officers, they vacated that area and have started to go toward the Yaktangi Parkway area. So we're headed over to that area right now. So we are going to get over into the left lane here because there is still a highway patrol trooper that does have the area somewhat overviewed on top of the bridge. You can see them there on the right side of your screen as we make our way past them. he or she, I can't tell, is looking down on the bridge, and they're just making sure that no one is still in the water, because we understand one of these inmates were in the water, and law enforcement went in the water after them. I can recall when I was working for the Pike County Sheriff, we had an escaped inmate. You can find the video on YouTube, I believe. But we had an escaped inmate who escaped from the holding facility at the sheriff's office. And I was with the sheriff, and of course we had several deputies out, as well as Waverly PD, and I believe Piketon came in and had a couple of troopers, and we were looking for this female inmate who escaped. And we ultimately ended up finding her in a retirement village. She was inside the hot tub, getting warm, because it was in the middle of December. Similar weather right now, snow on the ground, very cold. And she was in the hot tub, getting warm. It was freezing, just like this. And the sheriff, I was with the sheriff, and I made a recommendation. Of course, they brought in DPS's helicopter, but I made a recommendation to the sheriff. I said, Sheriff, why don't we get the fire departments out here with their thermal cameras and see if they can search the woods as well. And that's exactly what we had. We dispatched a couple of the fire departments out to the scene of this wooded area, and they used their thermal cameras, and DPS had their helicopter overhead. They were using their thermal camera, and ultimately got a call from a citizen that they had a person in a yellow jumpsuit, I believe it was at the time, in the hot tub at the retirement village. And so we raced over there, of course, and got the inmate apprehended and took her into custody. I think if you go and type in Pike County inmate escape in YouTube, you might be able to find that video. All right, so we're in Yaktangi Park right now, where we understand that at least one inmate was apprehended, and that a second inmate has possibly turned themselves in. A third inmate was also apprehended, and a fourth inmate remains at large. And it's our understanding that law enforcement just cleared the area along the Bridge Street Bridge and River Trace as they try to ID a possible person of interest along the bike path. Okay, we have law enforcement activity on Yaktangi Parkway right now. Several law enforcement jurisdictions and agencies are out here. Multiple law enforcement agencies are out here, and it's our understanding that they've called a signal. Is it signal? It's signal 99, isn't it, Mark? Emergency traffic, I believe it is. Yeah, it's signal 99. Emergency traffic.
Yes, that's correct. Signal 99.
Do what?
Yeah, you're correct. The signal 99.
Yeah.
The helicopter reported that there was a heat signature that was in movement, and another heat signature that was stationary about 600 feet behind the first heat signature. So there.
Okay.
Give me just a second. There's more coming in here.
Okay. Breaking developments right now, ladies and gentlemen, as we understand, DPS's helicopter is flying over the head of the area of Yaktangi Park and behind IHOP. Of course, that area split by the Scioto River. We understand that at least one hit has been made on possible heat signature, as well as the second one. They have these thermal cameras that are very powerful cameras that will pick up body heat when it's they're doing searches like this, especially when it's extremely cold out like this. It's really handy to have, because that body heat can be seen on the camera, especially when it's this cold out. Late at night like this, there's not a lot of people out. Factor in the fact that we're in the middle of winter, not a lot of people out at 10 o'clock at night. Not too many heat signatures on the cameras. We know that 4 inmates escaped, 3 are in custody. And that fourth one, they're hot on the trail, that fourth one right now. And it's just a matter of time before they find them. They're going to find them. It's very cold out here. They're in jumpsuits, from what we understand, wearing jail shoes. And a lot of the jail shoes are Crocs. They have holes in them. There's snow on the ground. Out in the woods, there's several inches of snow still on the ground because of the tree canopy. The sun can't reach it and melt it. It's cold. It's going to be cold for people out there.
Can you make contact with them?
All right, Mark, do we have any updates, Mark, other than what you just shared? We know that some of the deputies are back just on regular patrol right now, is what I understand.
Okay, so they have multiple times identified the at-large suspect by the last name of Cummings, and they also just asked the OSP helicopter to head towards, I believe, 772 area.
772 area?
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll head over that way. I don't know what he'd be doing over there. That wouldn't be the way I would go if I was an inmate, but we'll go over that way. Mark, can you...
They're saying 772 South Paint Street.
Okay, well, that's right by our newsroom. That is right by our newsroom. So we'll head over there. Mark, can you go on ross.miamivalleyjails.org and see what Mr. Cummings is incarcerated for?
Yeah, I did that right when your signal went down, and I was afraid of something I did, so I got out of it.
Oh, thank you.
One of the comments says put your defrost on the floor so it doesn't overheat again.
Okay, give me just a second, Mark. I can hear you just fine. I need to pump up the audio on my end just so I can hear you more. But I can hear you, so give me just a second. We're going to get onto the dash cam here and pump you up. Okay, should be able to hear you now better. Okay, 772 in Main Street. We understand, which is right by the Guardian's newsroom, is where this fourth inmate possibly has been spotted. So we're gonna go over that way right now.
Okay, I have those charges up.
Okay, and also, if I don't know if you can do it, but you want to pull up his mugshot too. You could probably just screen share that tab. What's happening right now, ladies and gentlemen, is that Mark with the Sauter County Daily News, who is joining us on this broadcast, is pulling up the charges as well as the inmates' mugshot of the last known inmate. That out of these 4 inmates escaped, 3 of them are apprehended. A 4th one is in at large still. All right, Mark. What can you see there? It's hard for me to read on the dash cam, but what can you see his charges? I see a lengthy list there. Okay. If you're still muted, we can't hear you.
Okay.
Yep, we can hear you now.
All right, so we've got 2 charges of theft, failure to comply, aggravated menacing.
Those are misdemeanor charges from the sound of it, Mark.
Yeah, there's...
It should give the designation there near the right of the charge.
Yeah, there's nothing worth running for.
Yeah, nothing worth running for. Theft at most, it looks like, and failure to comply. That's a good indication right there, Mark, is that this man does not like to listen to orders by law enforcement. He's very defiant. That's what failure to comply means. That means he was involved with law enforcement, possibly a pursuit, I don't know if you want to look into the archives or in the search engine, Mark, and see if we covered anything or if you've covered anything on him recently. I don't know what the failure to comply charge would be stemming from. Name doesn't come to mind right off the top of my head, but and what was his first name, Mark? His last name was Cummins.
Be Dustin L Cummins.
Dustin L Cummins is the inmate who remains at large right now,
The white male, 115, 5'6", brown hair, born in 94.
94, Mark. He's young. Wow.
This is a life-changing decision this person has made. Well, all four of them.
Absolutely, Mark. You're absolutely right. They will now face felony charges for escape. Could you? I know you had his mugshot booking page pulled up, but is there a way that you can save that mugshot and import it into the software so we can actually get a full screen on it? Because I want people to keep an eye out for this guy. It's very possible he might have a change of clothes because we're now an hour into this, and it's very possible that this person might have had a change of clothes. Well, we're on 772 in Maine, this portion of 772 in Maine, and this is where we're told the last area was possibly spotted. Okay. We've got a significant amount of law enforcement activity on Paint, almost at the city limits. We're going to head down there now. While we do that, Dustin Cummins, young guy, that's 26 years old if I do my math correctly, still at large at this time, facing misdemeanor charges, and decided that he wanted to break out of jail for whatever reason. One of the charges that he faced in addition to the theft charges was a failure to comply charge, which means he wasn't listening to orders of law enforcement, most likely when he was being placed under arrest for those theft charges. Oftentimes we see people in pursuits, and we see people who don't want to stop for law enforcement face that FTC charge. We're talking misdemeanor charges for the most part this guy's booked into jail for. Why he would want to escape from jail on misdemeanor charges is far beyond my comprehension. But he clearly has an issue with law enforcement and following orders by law enforcement. We understand that he was last seen possibly in this area of 772, where we're at right now. We saw a significant amount of law enforcement presence in this area. And so we're going to come down in this area as well and see what we can see. We're getting ready to roll up on the scene here. It's going to be just outside of the city limits along 772. Okay, it looks like we might possibly have him in custody, Mark. I see the highways completely shut down right now. It does believe that, yes, I believe we might have him in custody, Mark, or at least somebody. Okay, we're gonna have to stop here while these law enforcement vehicles get around us, Mark. So give me just a second. We've got a host of law enforcement vehicles coming down 772. It's our understanding that they might have him in the area of 772. We're gonna hop out, Mark, and see what we can see.
All right, it just came across and said they believe one of the units has them at 772, and I could not copy the crossroad.
Oh, well, that's where we're at right now, Mark. We're on 772. I think this is, I can't tell where we're at right now because I haven't gotten that close, but I see the crossroad. I think it's Potts Hill Road, actually, Mark.
Okay, one unit is confirming that they have him custody.
Okay. He is in custody, Mark says, and you can see the amount of law enforcement presence here at Potts Hill and 772. More are continuing to come in. You can hear them in the distance. Dozen law enforcement officers out here right now. Highway Patrol, Chillicothe Police, the Sheriff's Office, and DPS's helicopter is leaving the area, Mark. They're headed back toward Columbus.
All right. They just sent out word to notify the supervisor personnel that they do indeed have him in custody.
Okay. So they do have him in custody?
Yeah.
I'm sorry? Okay. So we have everyone responding out here right now. Multiple law enforcement are on scene, including some of the command staff here right now. So you can see that inmate was just apprehended here at Potts Hill Road and 772. The 3 other inmates have been taken into custody, and all 4 inmates are now in custody after they escaped from the county jail. So we can see, I think this is the sheriff actually pulling up. See if we can get an interview with him. So anyway, you can see that very active scene. Okay, that's sorry, it's the police department's command staff pulling up right now. Okay, so we're going to give you guys a quick update. Total of 4 inmates escaped from the Ross County Jail just a little over an hour ago. 3 of them were apprehended. There was still a 4th one on the loose by the name of Dustin Cummins. He was facing misdemeanor charges for theft and failure to comply. He was apprehended here at Potts Hill Road in 772 just a few seconds ago. Traffic is shut down on 772 at Potts Hill. You can see some of these law enforcement vehicles are starting to clear right now, including DPS's helicopter, which flew back to Columbus just a few seconds ago.
Derek, if I could interject here, I want to give a shout out to the 73 units, which is Dakota County Sheriffs, that were assisting in this, and they have now been released to return back to Dakota County. So a huge shout out to Sheriff Thurman and all of those officers that assisted.
Yes. Sheriff Thurman just took office, as we understand, earlier on January 6th. He's been a busy sheriff. He took over a very tumultuous, very controversial sheriff's office, as we understand it. And Scioto County sent some deputies up here, and we're very appreciative of all the law enforcement agencies who have assisted in this search, including the Ross County Sheriff's Office, the Highway Patrol from multiple counties, DPS's helicopter. Of course, Scioto County Sheriff was here as well. They're just now opening traffic back up at 772 in Potts Hill. We can see that police are focused a little bit on this house up here. You see that brick house. They're shining lights in the windows, unknown right now. Unknown right now if it's any connection to this, but the last inmate, last name Cummins, was just apprehended a few minutes ago here on 772 at Potts Hill. All right, the K9 unit right now is clearing the scene as well. We're hearing that deputies as far as Scioto County, down on the state line down there, came in to help. All right, so we're gonna try and get a quick interview here, if we can, with the captain. So, Captain, we're live right now. Can you tell us kind of what went on tonight?
All I know is some inmates escaped from the Ross County Jail, and members of the Chillicothe Police Department were able to, I guess, catch them all.
All right.
That's all I know at this point.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. What'd you say, Mark?
They have pulled out everybody that is not on shift. So everyone responding under the 99 code has been sent home. And so we're left with just the regular folks on shift. So this has come to a seemingly safe and successful conclusion.
Yes, yes. And you can see the final units are clearing right now. We just spoke with the captain from the Chillicothe Police Department who came out here in his civilian clothes. He came from home, and he told us that all 4 inmates were apprehended, that they escaped, but they are back in custody now. And Mark, we're actually going to wrap up this broadcast. We'll give a couple thanks here before we do. Say thank you to, of course, Scioto County Daily News, who joined the Guardian on this simulcast. Mark Craycraft and his team are always quick to jump to assist us in this breaking news. When we heard this call come out, it's very serious. And a great thank you to all the law enforcement jurisdictions and agencies who came out to assist. It's our understanding multiple sheriff's offices, including Scioto County Sheriff, Pike County Sheriff, and the Ohio State Highway Patrol, the DPS Helicopter, Chillicothe Police, Ross County Sheriff's Office. The list just goes on. There were dozens involved in this. So thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. And be sure to log on to SciotoCountyDailyNews.com and SciotoValleyGuardian.com for your latest breaking news.